What's up, wrestling fans? Welcome to episode number 311 of the Smark Out Moment Smack Talk podcast. I am your host, Tony Mango, and this is the Hot Tags edition of the week, where I'll be breaking down some of the current events, rumors, news, gossip, and anything else that went down over the world of professional wrestling and sports entertainment in the past couple of days. First things first, apologies for all the congestion. It's one of those days where I've been literally sneezing every minute or so for, 13 hours. So I'm probably going to have to be stopping middle of this podcast here and there and doing a lot of editing work, and you're just going to have to listen to this, God, my voice is so terrible type of thing like that. But hey, that's what it is. The alternative is to not do the hot tags, and I can't really do that, and I can't even really push it too much further along, because this week we've got NXT TakeOver, and we've got Survivor Series, so we got to do our predictions for those two, and then we got to do the post-show for both of those, so this is a packed week. On top of the other stuff I got to do, I mean, there's so many freaking articles, and WWE keeps changing all these matches on the cards, so that keeps making it harder and harder for me to work on stuff ahead of time. Then we got Justice League coming out. We got The Punisher. This week sucks. So it's a good thing to not be able to breathe while you're doing a whole bunch of work. But, well, things could be worse. So how you all doing? Let me know by leaving a comment below, and do the same thing of what all your thoughts are for all the topics that we're going to be talking about today. So let's just go into it. This is something that was a big story last week. And throughout the past couple of days, it's really kind of died down, although we still don't know too much about the actual situation. And that's that Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn were apparently sent home from the European tour. And the rumors and the reports and everything that's kind of been thrown around has been that it was a disciplinary thing. It wasn't about an injury or about some kind of visa issues or something like that, but instead it was that they've been increasingly hard to work with, and that they were supposed to get beaten down more by the New Day, and that they didn't quite do that, and that might have been seen as them, quote, going into business for themselves. I don't think that this is really the case, and I mean, I don't know, because this could be something that's happening, but it didn't seem like it was all that offensive to me, and it seems strange that they would want to put these two in a role like that, and that the difference of them getting beaten down real quick versus them getting beaten down over and over again, I mean, I don't know. That seems highly suspect to me. If they were sent home for some kind of problem, it doesn't necessarily seem like that problem's continuing, because they are scheduled for tomorrow night SmackDown. I'm recording this around midnight of Monday, so technically I guess it's tonight. But that will be an indicator of how things go. If they get completely squashed, then maybe there is some truth to the rumors. And if it's just a regular match and everything seems normal, then I think that it's just scuttlebutt. So I think this is something that you need to kind of put a pin in, and you need to watch for the future. But I would be really disappointed if it turns out that Owens and Zayn are in some kind of problems or wanting to leave the company, because, I mean, with Zayn, I can understand a lot of frustration where he should have at least won an Intercontinental or United States title by now, and he never really got what he's been deserving. Not that he's somebody who should have been a 20-time world champion or something like that, but he should have gotten more than what he's gotten. And Owens, that dude deserves better too. And I'm going to touch upon this a little bit when it comes to the Goldberg thing, but I think that there could be a little bit of animosity between the idea that he had to step in and win that Universal title, and Goldberg just gets it because he's, whatever, and that they haven't given Owens the Money in the Bank, that they didn't give Owens the world title on SmackDown. That sucks. And if he has some issues that he's trying to bring up, then I can support Kevin Owens just being like, dude, knock it the fuck off, because WWE is in this weird mindset right now where they don't seem to really know what they want to do. They seem like they want a couple things and everything else is out the window, and that they're just sort of doing it on the fly. I mean, look at the way that they've booked. You can't really judge them when it comes to TLC too much, but look at TLC before the injuries, the illnesses, and afterward. And you'll see that even beforehand, it still looked like a messy card that they didn't really plan too much out for. And if you look at the way the Survivor Series is going, it doesn't seem like they know what the fuck they're doing. So if Owens and Zayn are these two people who are high priorities and they're not a part of the Survivor Series card, and WWE keeps telling them, like, we don't know what we're doing, that would piss me off and go, you know what? After all this time, you're not going to prioritize me at all. You're not even going to be able to tell me that I'm doing a shitty match. You just don't think that I'm going to be on the card at all. It's very strange. So this Tuesday's SmackDown is going to be a huge indicator, I think, of if there's any truth to the rumors. And then if we hear more, of course, then that'll continue on with future editions of the hot tags and stuff like that. But I don't know. It's kind of a weird situation. And speaking of weird situations, Paige and Alberto Del Rio have broken up again. And this time, it seems at least more than the last time to happen for real. Paige had posted a thing on Snapchat saying that she is single. And there hasn't been any kind of backtracking on any other social media posts of them saying, oh, everybody's trying to get into our way and trying to not let us live our lives and all this other kind of shit that they did before. So this is kind of strange because I think recently Del Rio had said something about like that they were still planning on getting married and they'll see about like trying to pick a date. But at the same time, is it really all that crazy for people that seem bipolar and to have issues to have issues? You know, it's one of those things where it's like if you are a drama queen or somebody who invites drama, the more issues that you have, the more problems you run into, it doesn't seem like it's not necessarily not your fault. You know what I mean? And hey, at the very least, it seems like it would be good for the two of them to not have each other anymore, because then they're not throwing drinks at each other and arguing in airports and stuff like that. But who knows? We might get a report that 2 days from now that they're back together and everything's great and Paige is pregnant or something like that. The other report that has been going on with Paige is that she was backstage with Raw, and a lot of people thought that she was going to be replacing Bayley, which, I mean, again, with the way that they've replaced everybody on Survivor Series, I wouldn't have been too shocked. But I think more than likely what was happening was she was probably doing scans. They're probably redoing her pictures to put on the website and stuff like that, and she probably will be coming back soon. But I assume that means she's probably going to Raw instead of SmackDown, and I think that that's a little bit of a mistake, and that she'll be coming up after Survivor Series, which I don't think necessarily is a mistake, except for the fact that I think that maybe she's somebody that you could cut your ties with. We talked about this in the Call the Spot, that if it would have came down to me with the 5 options on that, Paige would have been my released. And if they release her at some point, now I would be kind of shocked, because if she's popping up, then, you know, I would expect her to return, but still, it wouldn't be the craziest thing in the world, would it? We haven't seen her on Raw, so she hasn't made her return yet, so she's still just in limbo. And now it looks more than likely that she is going to be returning sooner than later, but where she goes, what she does, we'll just have to find out. Speaking of where people go and what they do, Jonathan Coachman has left ESPN, and now he has started his own talk show on the side called Coach 'Em Up. And originally, of course, everybody was going, oh, maybe he's going to return to WWE. Doesn't seem like it's necessarily the case, but he probably will still talk about WWE-related things. So if you are a fan of Coachman, go ahead and check out his stuff. And if you are a fan of Lucha Underground, you're going to be happy because Season 4 has been announced. That's going to be coming out in 2018 at some point. So I know that Peter follows Lucha Underground and some others as well. And hey, something to look forward to, I guess. We don't know exactly who's going to be returning and who is going to be brand new stars to it and everything else like that. But I'm assuming pretty soon they're probably going to start filming for it and getting everything situated and stuff. So we'll probably get more and more information about this over the next few weeks. Pay attention to that. If you are following the situation with Neville and the issues that WWE has had with him, the latest report is actually on the positive side of things. It says that he possibly could be returning to WWE very, very soon. This week, next week, something like that. And I'm a little bit hesitant to believe this because no reports that I've seen online have had any real information whatsoever. It's all just been ties with WWE are getting better, and it seems like they could be, you know, kind of like sorting out all their issues and stuff like that, which is good if that's the case, because I don't think that Neville should be leaving WWE. I think that they should figure out some way to use him because he is talented enough that they could use him in some capacity. A tag team, mid-card, still on the cruiserweight side of things, whatever. He's done the best work that he's ever done this year. And for them to take that and to be like, no, we're not going to use you for anything anymore, that would kind of suck. And maybe this is something to do with Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Apparently they are real tight. We know that there's been rumors before that plenty of other people were interested in leaving WWE other than just Neville and Cody Rhodes and Jack Swagger and everybody like that. So Neville could have started something there. Austin Aries could have been continuing, although Austin Aries has said recently that he wasn't necessarily the one that picked the idea of leaving WWE, that they actually released him. So that changes his story up as well, because we were working under this assumption that he was this bitter pill, that he wanted more, and that he left because they wouldn't give it to him. Now it seems like he might still have been a little bit of a bitter pill, but that they got rid of him because they didn't want him anymore. And that is completely different. I mean, it's got some of the similar echoes, but it is a completely different situation. So maybe this has something to do with Neville. Maybe it has nothing to do with Neville. Maybe he isn't going to be returning. All this stuff is crazy. But that does give me at least a little bit of a transition to go to talking about Jack Swagger. This is one of our main topics for this week. He has signed with Bellator, the MMA organization. And Jake Hager, of course, is his name, not actually Jack Swagger, because he can't use that. That's copywritten by WWE. He is going to be going into the MMA game. And you know what? I'm going to be rooting for him. And I said this before about CM Punk, that I wanted him to get his ass kicked, and I kind of wanted him to learn his lesson a little bit. And when it comes to Swagger, let me put it this way. He burned his own bridges in certain ways, and some of the flaws that he had are entirely his own. Like, you can't run into the situation with all the weed and not see that that's a problem that's indicative of your problems. But at the same time, he doesn't seem to be approaching things the way that Punk did. And I actually am rooting for Jack Swagger. I think that he can do a good job. I think that if he would have done this a bunch of years ago when youth was more on his side, that would be a lot more beneficial for him. But at the same time, that's probably not going to be a total deal breaker. He is somebody who has an extensive background in wrestling, and that could be his main kind of like catch. And if that works, then awesome for him. You know, he won't have to beat his body up as much. He won't be on tour and everything like that. And there are still rumors that he might be signing with other companies, and he still could be doing other wrestling gigs too. And he could do things that aren't necessarily wrestling too. He could do autograph signings. He could pop up at different conventions and stuff. So, yeah, you know what? I think that this is a good idea. I don't think it's going to help him out as far as a potential return to WWE, but it could. And I don't think that that's his priority right now either. I think that he wants to try MMA, and he might be looking at this as that he would have done MMA a bunch of years ago instead of WWE. Maybe not. That's just me totally speculating. But he is somebody who has a background that I think could work with MMA. And you know what? I'll be giving him my full support. Why not? So we have 3 more things to talk about. 2 are pretty quick. One of them is a little bit bigger. The quick ones, let's knock them out. WWE has filed 2 more trademarks. One of them is for Project Rock, which seems to be something dealing with The Rock. And the other one is called WWE Mixed Match Challenge. I am assuming that this is something like a toy line, but there hasn't really been too much to exactly say what it is. Some speculation has been saying that it's some kind of an event. I don't think that they would do an event that they would ever call like that. Like, they're not going to do, say, we didn't get Roadblock this year, and that's not going to be like, all right, the December pay-per-view is going to be WWE Mixed Match Challenge. That sounds too gimmicky. That sounds like it's a product line for something like, you know, the Crash Cage type thing, and when they do like the Super Card and all that other kind of stuff. Mixed Match Challenge seems like it's like you take a bunch of action figures that wouldn't pair up, and they're a tag team, and it's the Mixed Match Challenge. It's The Undertaker tagging up with Big E against I don't know, Kurt Angle and Alexa Bliss, like, you know, just like one of those kind of things. So I don't think that they're going to be really all that big. Project Rock is going to be something that maybe could be like a show for the network. Or it could just be some kind of like campaign that The Rock is like somewhat organized with, like the Be a Star campaign or whatever like that. Something to keep your eyes peeled for, though. Another thing is that Bram and James Storm have left Impact Wrestling. So Bram, I don't think is all that much of a big deal. I don't think that we're going to be seeing him necessarily come to WWE. If he does come to WWE, maybe he'll be part of the NXT system. Maybe he'll team up with Gunner, because I always get those two fucking confused. I know one of them used to be married to Charlotte. I think it was Gunner, but it might have been Bram. They confused me enough that they basically, in my mind, they are Adam Bomb and Crush. Because those two, I got a little bit confused when I was a kid. And not in the same capacity as Tito Santana and Ricky Steamboat. Not that joke. But I legitimately would get them confused every once in a while. Bram and Gunner, I can't tell the difference between the two of them. I don't know which one's which. So one of them was like a real asshole. He was dating, engaged or married or whatever to Charlotte. The other one, I guess it wasn't. So maybe Gunner's not the one that was married. Maybe Bram is. I don't know. I don't really see too much happening out of that. James Storm, on the other hand, though, that could be pretty interesting because everybody's been criticizing him for however long it's been now. Why did you leave NXT? And he has said that the reason why is because he wanted to have another kid and that the touring system and all that stuff, it wouldn't really make a whole lot of sense. He left Impact. So if he left Impact, does that mean that he's kind of winding down his career and he's just going to do gigs for like New Japan and Ring of Honor on like a per basis type thing? Or is he signing with Ring of Honor or New Japan? Or is he signing with NXT? Or is he just retired? That could be. There hasn't been too much information about this. Last time I checked, it was just that he left and it's all kind of up in the air. But I still would like to see him back in NXT. I just think that the longer he waits, the less of a chance of actual success he's going to get. And the final thing to talk about here is the latest special on the WWE Network. Every week they do something after Raw. So I'm going to give you my see it or skip it when it comes to that and a little bit of a breakdown. This was an episode of WWE 24 for Goldberg. First things first, I still hate the idea that this is called WWE 24 because it makes no sense whatsoever. I don't know what the 24 is supposed to be dealing with. That's like just calling a show WWE Happy Fun Time Hour and it's 10 minutes long. The 24 makes no sense to me. It pisses me off every single time. Just call it WWE Insights or WWE Behind the Scenes or something like that. It would make so much more sense. God damn it. The Goldberg special, though, skip it. If you wanted to see the same exact clips that you've seen on all the commercials for this and every promo leading up until anything that Goldberg has done, where it's that whole, maybe for the first time in my life, this isn't about me. That shit over and over and over and over again, then watch this. If you wanted to see anything worthwhile, you'd be missing out. Because this was just shots of Goldberg hugging people backstage, saying that he wanted to come back for his kid, that he wanted his kid to be proud of him. And there's all this talk about how he used to be a pain in the ass. Yet, it seems to me like all he does here is bitch and moan. He talks about how he doesn't want to do this, and that he is miserable all the time, and I mentioned this before, but all he did was a few spears and a jackhammer. I mean, it's not like he was training for a marathon. The match was less than 2 minutes at first, and he's talking about how he's beaten up, and I don't know. I don't think that the whole Goldberg story was all worth it in the end. It still annoys me that the title was taken off of Kevin Owens. It still annoys me that Jericho and Owens at WrestleMania wasn't for the title, and that we got this whole thing with Brock Lesnar just to build up the idea of Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns. I mean, I'm going to be saying this, for still a couple more months because we know that we're getting that at WrestleMania. And I don't think that this is all worth it. And I think that I like the idea that Goldberg came back. I just don't think that this was all that interesting. I thought that the WWE 24 special was nothing that we haven't seen already, and I kind of feel like I wasted my time. So I would say skip it. Don't bother with it, anybody. But if you want to go ahead and check it out, go ahead and do that. Just saying. I told you so. I'm warning you ahead of time if you end up looking at this and thinking the same thing. So that's it for the hot tags for this week, everybody. As I mentioned before, The next things that are going to be coming up are going to be predictions for NXT TakeOver and for Survivor Series. And then after that, we're going to do the coverage and the post-show of both shows Saturday and Sunday night, so stay tuned for that. Next week, I don't know what the main event is going to be because it is a whole situation with like Thanksgiving and such. So I want to try to do something ahead of time, and I'm not too sure what I can pull off. So if you can think of something that I don't need to really have be like time specific or something like that, drop the suggestion in the comments below. I normally like to do Sporkle quizzes with that kind of stuff, but I already did Thanksgiving related kind of thing with like Survivor Series, so we can't really do another Survivor Series one. And I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to record a pay-per-view. Yeah, I'm not going to record a whole pay-per-view ever. But I'm not going to record a whole podcast on like the Wednesday night before Thanksgiving or something like that. And I kind of don't want to leave you guys high and dry and not give you a main event. But maybe I'll just do something very casual. Maybe I'll just talk about the future and the plans that we've got for like the end of the year awards, give you a breakdown of like some of the new categories and stuff. Maybe I'll do that. I don't know. If you have any suggestions, as I said, drop them in the comments below. Tell me what you thought about all these hot tags. Hit that subscribe button to be aware of when we do end up posting these new videos, and ring that little bell. Check off that you want the notifications. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter at SmarkOutMoment as well, and just keep checking SmarkOutMoment.com for anything else that's coming your way. Also, as I mentioned before, Justice League and the Punisher stuff, if you are interested in that, fanboysanonymous.com. That's the geek culture website where I take care of that kind of stuff. And yeah. TeePublic's on sale, so go buy some t-shirts. That's it for this week, though, everybody. As far as the hot tags go, I will see you in the next sections that I'm going to be doing. Thanks for watching. This has been another Smark Out moment, and I'm being counted out.